Alright, well, let me put on my codpiece before we begin this show. This is a codpiece I only wear during the performance, because people at this festival tend to get drunk and they grab at the first thing that appeals to them. And so, yes, why you would woo that is beyond me, but yes, let's celebrate idiocy, shall we? This is a codpiece that I purchased at a gently used prophylactic shop, a place called Brace Yourself for Re-Entry. I've got a whole collection of codpieces, and some of them they will not allow me to wear during a festival day. This one I named the Gentle Giant. I've got a much larger one backstage that I named Leviticus chapter 4, verse 12. How many of you have never seen this show before? Never seen it before? Brilliant. That is exactly what I like to see. It is also why I feel that I should warn you all, because my name is Arthur Greenleaf Holmes, and I'm a poet. But my friends, I'm no ordinary feel-good milquetoast of a poet. And what you're about to see is not the poetry of silk doilies, ladyfingers, and chamber music. This is the poetry of the gutters and the alleyways. This is the poetry of syphilis and hermaphrodites. It is the poetry of going in dry and coming out ashamed. It is the poetry of the surreptitious fart turned unfortunately liquid, and of the dry hump against the unsuspecting leg as administered by a pointy-headed midget with epilepsy. Now, why am I telling you all this? Well, I'm telling you this because at some point in this show, you may very well decide it's not to your liking and you'd like to leave. But that's all right with me. I actually care about my audience. And I take this seriously because what I propose we have is what I like to describe as an affectionate commerce between us. And what I mean by that is that at any point, if you find the show is not to your liking, I feel you should be able to leave this show without feeling mocked in any way. Because by leaving this show, you've shown better judgment than we have. And by leaving the show, you've restored some measure of dignity to this otherwise God-forsaken festival. And so if you leave the show, not only will we not mock you, we will applaud you for leaving the show. We will honor you no less enthusiastically than do the subliterate bastards who wallow in this crap. And so, are we all in agreement? Incidentally, I call this a God-forsaken festival because last year the toilets overflowed while I was doing a show, and I watched as brown, lumpish water made its way in this direction. And in that moment of universal panic, I found it curious that we spend so much time in the Renaissance Festival celebrating the glories of the 16th century until we come face to face with the real thing. And then don't we want out of it as quickly as possible? Well, you may have come face to face with the real thing, and so shall we get started with this show? Now, I always like to start out with a little bit about myself for those of you who are unfamiliar. As I said, my name's Arthur Greenleaf Holmes. I was born in the small English seaside town of Sherman-upon-Hemsley, sometime between the years 1547 and 1552, a period later to be known as the gay 1547s through 1552s. My father was a wet nurse, and my mother died after being pleasured by a butter churn. Successfully, as it turns out. I'm also the only poet of the entire English language to have rhymed the word egg with the word fellatio. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for recognizing that accomplishment. Most of my earliest poetry, or what the scholars call the juvenilia, took the form of flower odes and lamentations upon what was to prove to be an extremely late arriving puberty. In fact, my testicles failed to descend until I was 32 years old. Here then is the first poem that I ever wrote. It is entitled Mother, Will My Stones Drop? How old are you?
25.
25? Well, then you passed that point, then aren't you? But I shall be delivering this poem in the original pre-pubescent voice. Mother, will my stones drop? ere I turn 29, I tire of this empty sack against my airless thigh. And when will I awaken to find my mattress wet? It's happened to the other boys, but I've not known it yet. Hold on for a second, I just want to check something. Hello? How old is she? 3? Well, that's an awfully optimistic age. So this is all right? Okay, good. Why is it all right? She's seen the show 4 times. But I don't know why that's supposed to be reassuring to us. Oh, well, Daddy's drunk and making poor choices in public again. Here we go. And will my wanker bolden? You know, there's one thing to laugh at this situation, it's another thing entirely to applaud it. And will my wanker bolden and shed its pinkish skin? And will it grow a hairy nest to spend its evenings in? And it's a sad day when I'm the protector of children in town. And mother, what's a clitoris? And is it hard to find? My cousin said she'd show me hers if I would show her mine. Thank you very much. When I was a child, I would have quite liked to see a show like this. Just not with my parents. Well, by now we probably have a sense of the downward trajectory that this show is going to take. Applaud those people, applaud those people. That's what good parenting looks like. I would like to remind you all of the disclaimer that I issued at the top of the show because you might have been thinking I was trying to caution you against the use of the bad word. But of course this is poetry, is it not? And in poetry, you shall soon see that the bad word is much more benign than the perfectly good words that are employed in a conspiracy of horrific achievement. And so, would you like me to continue? Now, do you like limericks? That's wonderful, because I really don't like limericks. I don't write them. No, it's all right. I just didn't want to be a purveyor of limericks in the show. I wanted to write my own things. But poems like limericks serve a purpose. They present us with recognizable poetic structures. And when we encounter these structures, we come to realize that poetry is a very natural means of expression. Why else would we write rhymes to help us remember things? Rhymes such as beer before liquor, never sicker, or double-jointed cabin boy with buttery lips and big brown bedroom eyes at night, sailor's delight. Anyway, I realized that to be a poet without a single limerick was too much of a hard line, so I've written one. It will be the only one I ever write. Would you like to hear it? Yes. My wife, I'm ashamed to admit, shoots bowling balls out of her slit. That's impressive, I know, but even more so when she picks up the 710 split. My friends, I'm very fond of prostitutes. Quite by accident, you see, I used to frequent a chocolate shop across the way, and then one day they switched ownership and they became a whorehouse. But they didn't change the sign, which I only realized after I ordered the screaming double German fudge blasters. Like a fool, I paid extra for the sprinkles. Anyway, I'm still fond of prostitutes. I call many prostitutes friend. In fact, my favorite prostitute is a woman that goes only by the name... Now, this poem is not for her, because I'll be damned if anything rhymes with that name. So I've written a poem for my second favorite prostitute. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Oh, goody. Oh, goody. It's called Tavern Floor Tina. Tavern floor Tina, thou fen-sucking whore, with a mouth to be damned and a tongue to abhor. When your meat meets her mouth, well, it's meat mouth galore. Ah, tavern floor Tina, there's a worm in your core. Oh, no, I'm not done. She'll give you a wink and she'll drag you upstairs, and before you can think, you'll be caught unawares. Elbow deep in the pink with 2 thumbs up your rear. Ah, tavern floor Tina, your sink's full of hair. I'll be all right. She'll give your poor bone every pound that she's got. Then she'll slather your dome till your tonsils are hot. You'll need time all alone. Just to burp up the clot. Ah, tavern floor Tina, I just as soon not. Thank you very much. Too much? Too much? Am I gone too far? Are we all right? Oh, are you slow clapping that one in, sir? Someday I shall write a poem in your honor. It will be entitled, Ode to a Man in Grave Danger of Being Teabagged by a Herd of Deer. And for you, madam, a poem entitled Ode to a Plunging Neckline. Sweet double handfuls of inspiration. Impertinent meat sacks of Eros, lower thy curtain, let shine thy beams, for the night is newborn, and thy moons be full. Thank you very much. I like it when women put flowers in their hair. It's a touching tribute to both virginity and fertility. The only thing is that every time I see a woman with flowers in her hair, I feel that I'm expected to push her down a volcano. Well, there's no volcanoes here. The virgins aren't falling from the trees either. Last week I pushed a hooker down a manhole, but I don't think it translated. So, anyway, I bring this up because I have a new poem, and it begins with the image of a flower, and it is written from the woman's voice. Is that all right? Would you like to hear this poem?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. All right. This is a poem entitled Clap for My Love, an ode to chlamydia. Oh, give me not roses nor flowery bouquets, for what is a rose but a long-stemmed cliché? Nor diamonds nor emeralds my breast to adorn, the blackened coal when thy love is forsworn. Oh, you boys, do you fancy my virtue so hollow that the ruff of thy peacock might summon a swallow? Yet stay thy dismay, for still might I yield, and I'll open my bloom to the pistol you wield, and I'll take you to bed for to taste of my bead, and you'll think it so clever, and I so deceived, when I wake to thy missive dismissively writ, but mine is a gift you'll not easily quit. And mine is a blossom that blooms with goodbye, scorned to a thorn that rankles your thigh, and the tears of each maiden you wantonly kissed shall burn like a thistle each time that you piss. No more will you dabble in tawdry romance when your balls burn like nettles of fire in your pants. A dishonorable discharge shall keep thee at home. Thy poor Scroto-Baggins must go it alone. Alone. O chlamydia, blessed be thy name. How else might a man know a concubine's shame? Thank you. There are 2 little blonde girls in the back of the audience dressed in fairy costumes and standing shoulder to shoulder and looking at me. Remind me a little bit of the kids from The Shining. Are you all right? Is this all right for the children to hear this show? No? Yes? I guess we're all right. Well, thank you. You'll forgive me if I don't use you as the moral voice of reason here. All right, well, let's keep going. By the way, I want to point out that recently it has become fashionable when we offend someone to apologize by saying that it was a poor choice of words. There shall be no such nonsense at this show. Rest assured that all of my words have been meticulously selected for freshness, economic agency, and good old-fashioned colon puckering shock value. How's that turkey leg treating you? You really are hunkering down on that thing. It looks like a ground score in the leprosy colony. You know, earlier today I was watching an extremely old man eating a turkey leg, and it was fascinating because I couldn't tell which one was going to win. Anyway, watching you eating food, it reminds me of a food-centric poem that I would like to give you right now. It is a poem that I wrote after being invited to the Duchess of Kensington's for dinner. And as offensive as the meal itself was, the dessert was infinitely worse. In fact, it was less of a dessert and really more of a human rights violation on a platter. But I was able to force it down, and on the third day, when my fever broke and I stopped the bleeding, I wrote this poem. It is entitled The Tewksbury Pudding. Oh, the Tewksbury Pudding's a wretched dessert. Just the slightest of bites and your prostate will hurt. Your liver will swell and your colon will squirt, and you'll blow a brown stain up the back of your shirt. Oh, the Tewksbury Pudding's a terrible treat. They say it's a bread, but you'll swear it's a meat. And it's hardly a thing for a Christian to eat. It'll blow out old Lefty and wrinkle your teeth. It chews like placenta. Yes, oh, is that too much? Is that too Steady your hands, are you alright? Too much? No? Good, I'll say it again. It chews like placenta! Yes, oily and black. If you see one outside, tie it up in a sack. You can give it away, but it always crawls back. For it tastes like the drip from a camel toe's crack. Bingo! Applaud that one. It was a bee. Oh. Are we new to nature? Oh, that's good. Well, but this filth is okay. All right. Where was I? Oh, yes, camel toe. But the Tewksbury Pudding, it's worse than you think. It enlarges the heart, but your penis will shrink. I don't know why I pointed at you, madam, on that line. I'm so sorry. Really, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. But your penis will shrink. When you're done shitting blood, you'll need a stiff drink. Jesus Christ, light a match, hit the fan, clean the sink. It'll cripple your gut with intestinal flu. It'll whipple your twat like a fleshy kazoo. Throw your hands to the sky and ask God what to do. Make the sign of the cross, even though you're a Jew. Are we all right? That's not over here. What? Are there a lot of them?
Yeah.
We're drinking beans.
Oh, that's what it is. Yes. Well.
He's a bit drunk too.
Yes. Last week someone had soaked his underwear in gravy. There were wild dogs shouting on his ass. It happened. The human ear has a natural affinity for poetry. As soon as children begin learning how to speak, they begin fashioning these very basic rhymes. And there are times when I think that we laugh at something almost exclusively because it happens to rhyme. For example, if I was to say to you, I know of a woman who expectorates vaginally during intercourse. See, nobody really laughs at that. But watch what happens when I say, Gertrude the squirter with a giny that sloshes. You can lie with her, boys, but be warned, wear galoshes. Yes, that's a very different experience now, isn't it? Which is why most of my poems have a certain meter to them. But I believe it's time for me to put the show in my audience's hands. And the way I'm going to do that is with a simple question that I would like to ask of you first, madam. And the question is this. Be not afraid. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most wildly inappropriate to my poems, what would you like to hear? 11. Well, look who's ordering off the menu. Are you certain certain that you want an 11? Where did my cup go?
Over there on the table.
Oh, I left it over there. You don't want to ease your way up the side of Mount Filthy. You just want to charge to the summit with an 11. Slut. Oh, come on, people. This show, that's a compliment. You say you only have 5 minutes? You have to leave? All right. Whose laugh was that in the back? It's funny that the women in this town laugh differently. Other places they laugh like this. Here they laugh like this. This poem's called Expostulation and Reply. I only ask you to give this poem a few verses to warm up, and on a scale of 1 to 10, this poem is the moral equivalent of the papal reign of Sergius III. Look it up, you heathens. Where go you, my father? Good father, where now? You pace by the door and you furrow your brow. Good son, I go nowhere. I stay here with thee. I thought I heard voices and got up to see. But father, sweet father, you smell of cologne. Your bodkin is washed and your mustache is combed. You glance at your watch and you pull your beard. Where go you, my father? Why stay you not here? Wee daughter of mine, why speak you this way? I'll soon go to sleep. I've had a long day. I'm not going out. I stay here instead. Now, please, my good children, repair you to bed. Oh, husband of mine, where go you, my love? You've saddled the horse and you put on your gloves. What business should take you away from our home? Tell us, dear husband, what bids thee to roam? God damn it, to hell. If you must know the truth, I'm off to the whorehouse to plump me a few. I'm hard as a millstone, but what do you care? You've not flashed that hoo-hash in over a year. You notice the horse and my gloves and my watch, but you don't seem to notice this bulge in my crotch. I suppose it's not worthy of mention from you. Well, screw it, I'm horny. And here's what I'll do. I'll grab me a whore and I'll lift up her skirt and I'll pound that sweet meat till my testicles hurt. I don't care if she's toothless, obese, or infected. My poor little fatty's been sadly neglected. Back here, you bastards, you ass, so you'll hear. I'll slam my good. And then Jesus said to the 12 disciples, blessed is that family that will walk the two children past the back of this audience and not listen to this show. For hateful is that family that will let the children hear such a poem as this one. God hates that family. That is officially an at-risk youth. Where was I? I was on Fatty, wasn't it? Well, thank you very much for paying attention. Get back here, you bastards, you ass, so you'll hear. I'll slam my good ham in the first derriere. I've got buckets of chowder just waiting to fly. I've never done anal, but I'm willing to try. I'm sorry I pointed at you, so. But I'm willing to try. I might pleasure a lesbian, or fondle a moose, or fist up a nun till she's sloppy and loose. And all right, too much, too much. Jesus Christ, we hope. Applaud that. I'll find me a milkmaid, a fill in her paily, and I'll bibble her lips with my beefy shillelagh. I'll find me a bumpkin who's stupid and dull, and I'll dick knock the very last tooth from his skull. You know, I'd like to say something about poetry at this point. No, because that's what poetry does. It furnishes us with new imagery. And what is a new image but a new thought? I mean, really, how many of us have ever thought of dick knocking a tooth out before? Well, there it is, and now you have. And hasn't your world expanded just a little bit? And for those of you who have thought of dick knocking a tooth out, What has that image done for you? It's told you that a poet from another time, another country, hell, another culture, has had the same thoughts as you have, the same yearnings and the same desires. In short, we've all been united in this poem. Yes, united in dick-knocking, perhaps, but united nonetheless. And for that I say, hurrah for poetry. Shall I continue?
Yes!
I might ass-rape a Quaker, or cream pie an elf, and there's things I might do when I'm all by myself. I might put on a bodice and stroll by the docks, and give him a scare when I unleash my cock. And if I get bored, hell, I'll butter a midget. Tickle his winkhole, and watch how he fidgets. By the way, when you end a line of poetry with the word midget, you rather paint yourself into a corner, don't you? Would you like to hear my new couplet for this poem? Good. I'll do me a penguin though the cold gives me shrinkage, but I'll poke through that pink with my wee Peter Dinklage. I'm not proud of that line. He has a career. I'm sick of this house. I'm sick of charades. I'm so sick of Parcheesi. I want to get laid. So screw you. I'm leaving this mirthless gray hut. I shan't be back soon. So please, don't wait up. I would like to announce that that poem and everything you've heard so far in this show is part of my first volume of complete poetry entitled A Gentleman's Treasury of Bedtime Verses to Sodomize By. I'm sorry, by which to sodomize. It's got everything. Are you applauding proper syntax? You don't get that much here. It's got everything you've heard so far. It's got 80 pages of all my poetry. You know what, I should have made this a pop-up book. It's really funny. It's also got letters to my sister about that. It is wildly inappropriate. It is deeply offensive. And I think you'd enjoy it very much. So that will be for sale after the show, and I'm happy to sign it. I have to say that there are times when I feel that I should apologize for my own sense of humor. But no one has the luxury of choosing a sense of humor. Flannery O'Connor once said that a man may choose what he writes, but he may not choose what he makes live. I don't know why I find such things amusing. Even when I go out to dine, I feel compelled to order my eggs cooked doggy style. I'm telling you this because I just gave you an 11, and we probably have time for one more poem, but my poems go far beyond an 11. And so I would like to ask you, sir. No, I'm going to ask you, sir. Let's live dangerously, shall we? On a scale of 1 to 11, or whatever, what would you like to hear?
Another 11.
Higher!
Stop!
Wait, what did you say?
Stop! Let's go this far. Let's push it to the limit and beyond.
No, you don't want me to do that. No, you do not. No! I don't need you to go woo, and I don't need that. Now listen, can't you people appreciate when a man is trying to protect you from yourself? Alright? I want you to know something. If I do this poem, none of you are going to enjoy it. When it is over, you will be angry with me. You will look to me for answers, and I shall have none for you. Do you want me to do this poem? Fine. The poet Pablo Neruda once told a story about being a small child and playing in his backyard. And his backyard was surrounded by a great wooden fence, and to him, at that point in his life, that was the extent of his world. And one day, when he was playing, a hand emerged through a hole in the fence with a gift of a toy horse on wheels, and then disappeared. And Pablo loved this gift for many years, even though he didn't know who gave it to him. He said that that made the gift more authentic. And he goes on to say that to feel the love of people that we know is a wonderful thing, but to feel the love of people that we do not know, who are unknown to us, may be a greater thing, because it shows us the way in which we're all connected. Now, I also think that Pablo is talking about poetry, because isn't that what a poem is? It's a gift across time, across the page, unseen sometimes. So I thought that I would write a poem about a different kind of gift through a different kind of hole. This poem is called Out of the Glory Hole. Namelessly gifting. And you know what? Before I do this poem, I have to introduce my friend Mija. And I want to say thank you very much for coming to the show, because I look at the show as a bit of an improbability. The improbability that this many people would come out to the middle of nowhere, sit on these ill-constructed benches with the nail heads digging deep into your rectums, as they have dug into so many other rectums before yours, just to listen to a man reciting poetry. A few years ago, I didn't even have a stage show. I had to stand out in the fields asking the passers-by if they wanted to hear a poem, and they did not. It wasn't until I started asking, would you like to hear something wildly inappropriate, that you bastards started to give me the time of day. And what I learned about the Texas Renaissance Festival is that if you go a little bit wrong, they ask that you leave. If you go terribly wrong, they give you your own time slot. So, thank you very much for coming. At the end of the show, I shall be moving out amongst you with an open basket. Actually, Mija will be moving amongst you with that open basket. If you've enjoyed the show and you'd like to share something, it would mean a lot to me. It's how I make my living. Dear God, this is how I make my living. If you give me $5, feel free to take a greeting card with a poem on the inside. You can send it to someone you hate. I've got 4 different ones up here. Also, I told you about the book already, but I've also got 2 CDs. This one sounds like a PBS documentary, but it goes utterly to hell. It is set to chamber music and narration, and it is very nice to masturbate to during the prayer service. This one is the basic 53-minute live CD. It's really funny, and I think you'll like this one a lot, too. If you don't want a card for $5, take a bumper sticker, which says, "My other car is a menstrual hut." Well, $5, one blank look on the highway sounds about right to me. Finally, I've got t-shirts, too. I've got about 5 different colors of t-shirts. If you want one of those, come and ask me about it. But enough of that. It is time for this poem, which is called Out of the Glory Hole, namelessly gifting. And if at any point during the recital of this, if you find I've gone too far, just keep in mind that you fuckers deserve every word of this poem. Thank you for coming to my show. Out of the night, out of the dark seeping night, out of the tufted folds of deep drifted sleep, up from the warm whispered dullness where once I slumbered in a tavern room bed, came a voice whispered to me low. Soft, soft, I call to thee. Bend to me now, O friend, for though I know thee not nor see thee, yet a gift have I for thee. Whence comes this voice? Is it thou, O hole, O glorious glory hole, that speaks welcome words beside my bed? Come, come, friend, spake the hole. Come to me now, and receive that which I would give. Shall I give thee my hand, O hole, that I might catch the gift? Give not thy hand, for my gift is not to hold. Shall I press my ear to thee, O hole, that I might receive welcome words? Nor shall you press your ear, for my gift is not to be heard. What then, O hole? How shall I receive thee? O friend, spake the hole, Give to me thy mouth, thy ruby fretful lips. It is for them to receive. A kiss is it then, O whole? Fain would I take it, for though I know thee not, yet do I love thee. And thus to the whole did I press my lips. And there in the night, in the dark seeping night, what through that glorious glory hole emerged but a tooth sticking out of a turd. Yes! Yes, that's how it ends! That way that it ends! That couldn't possibly be the way that it ends! That's how it ends! And how clever you all thought you were! You thought, I think I know where this is going? Never, ever fuck with a poet!